Now, if you haven't seen this movie, or you don't want to see this movie for whatever reason, I will have the other Colton Calculated over at the desk give a quick recap about what happens. Thanks, Colt. So, basically, every pony is racist and there's no magic, but suddenly Earth Pony Sunny is met by Unicorn Izzy, and they become fugitives. Sheriff Hitch Trailblazer goes in search of them, leaving Sprout in charge. Sunny and Izzy go and see the Pegasi and meet Zipstorm and Pip Petals. The group goes to see the unicorns and starts their quest to put together a series of magic artifacts. They do it. The end. Oh, and Sprout goes crazy, but changes his mind. They all become friends. Also, some magic is back. This is a very simple summary, and leaves out a lot of the incredible and heartfelt moments. Back to you, Other Colt. Colt? Other Colt? Thank you, Other Colt. Now, back to what I was saying. First off, I gotta say, get it out of the way early on, I thought this was a fantastic movie. I thought everything was great. From a technical aspect, it was a fantastic looking movie. You know, the sound was great, the voice acting was amazing, the music was phenomenal. Everything about it I just thought was very well done. The story, we'll get to that in a second. Okay, that was a little misleading. I think the story is great too, but I think it's more of a standalone kind of story. It's easily, if you have just seen this movie and none of the other My Little Pony at all, you can totally follow along. It's a great movie, and you'll enjoy the whole thing. That said, if you want to look at it from a theory and lore perspective for the My Little Pony as a whole, it doesn't really answer any questions. And it not answering questions could be fine. We'll get to that in a moment. Here are just some of the things that stood out to me that were questions that I'd kind of hoped would be answered, but weren't touched at all on in the movie. So first off, how long has it been? The general consensus is that it's been at least 1,000 years or so since the events of My Little Pony Gen 4 ended. I think the only line we get is many, many moons ago in ancient Equestria, so, you know, many, many moons, that's how long it's been. Obviously, the big theme in here is the loss of magic, which I guess is one thing that's a little strange as a standalone, because you didn't really know they had magic to begin with, other than what was set up by Argyle at the beginning, which is Sunny's dad. Rest in peace. But you kind of, if you aren't familiar with the story, you're not really familiar with what exactly they're missing. And with the magic being gone, it seems like everything related to magic is gone too. Obviously, like magical creatures, the power of flight, obviously unicorn magic. But also, one thing I'm wondering is if there's so much strife in the kingdom, where are the Wendigos? There's also the question of what happened to the other species, because there were several out there. The griffins, the yaks, the hippogriffs, all those. They don't make an appearance, they don't make even mention of them in this at all. So I can only assume that they're not familiar with them either, because I can guarantee you, if they have so much hatred towards Pegasi and unicorns, you better believe they're not going to get along with the other species of the world. That's conjecture, I don't know, but I think that would be the case. Very glaring question that I think we all have, that we were hoping they might touch on in this, is what happened to Princess Twilight Sparkle, right? They do note that she existed, but that's about it. Beyond a few Easter eggs, we really don't even see much of Gen 4's history really talked about in the movie, which is fine. It's Gen 5, after all. The ending, I think, while very heartfelt and great, is a little light in information, because it literally goes like, hey, let's all get along. Okay. Hey, look, some magic. Oh, how did that happen? Well, I don't know. Alright, well, roll credits. See, all we know for sure lore-wise is that it is not a spin-off, and that Gen 4 is canon in this universe. So it does happen, albeit a long time later. I can't help but compare this movie kind of to the Fable franchise, where there was a point where magic was really big and prominent, but no one has seen it for, quite a while, so people kind of forgot it even existed, and there's a lot of plot details that are left out between the games, just like between these generations of like what happened to the ruler before, and how does that relate to what's going on now, and a lot of stuff that has yet to be answered. The movie is clearly for an older audience. Just the idea of unicorns being able to fry pony brains is a little more advanced than the 6-year-old girls that the original series was aimed at could probably handle, and just all around, especially the part later on where Sprout builds his death robot to try to kill all the other races. That's kind of heavy for a child. Clearly still geared towards children, but I think more of an emphasis on older children and more of a family, kind of audience. Now, I do have some theories, so bear with me here. This could get kind of heavy. So first off, there are things in the universe we know that can steal magic. We've already been exposed to several of them, whether it be, Grogar's Bell, T-Rex, Cozy Glow's weird Full Metal Alchemist spell. Now, it's possible that one of these things or something different, but kind of like it, could be in play here. That's, siphoning magic away from the ponies. Obviously, they don't tell us what happened in that gap, so we don't know why they're segregated again. What happened in the interim, what happened to Twilight, what happened to her friends, what happened to her students. We're just kind of left for now to wonder what those kinds of things were. Notably, a lot of the major characters are missing, being, obviously Twilight, and given the amount of time, I wouldn't be surprised if her friends were, dead. But there are those other ones to think about, like Discord and Celestia, Luna. We don't really know how long they live for. Discord, at least, is implied to be somewhat immortal, although he himself can fade into non-existence if things become too predictable or too normal. So I don't know if maybe things got boring for a while and he left too. I don't know. The Pillars of Equestria are gone too, which, makes sense. They were even older than the Elements of Harmony ponies, so it would stand to reason that they would just finish off the rest of their natural lifespan after coming back from Purgatory? What did they say it was? I'm just going to go with Purgatory. So that makes sense, that they could also be, dead. It almost reminds me of Star Wars The Last Jedi, with the idea of let the past die, kill it if you have to. It's kind of setting a fresh start for, why can't Celestia just come in and help? It's because she's dead. Celestia's dead, right? She's probably dead. It's a very good possibility. However, could the Pony of Shadows come back into play? We know that it was no longer with Stygian, and it was banished to wherever it was banished to, but, things that are banished have a tendency to come back in My Little Pony. And all it would take is one student or one pony that feels like they're not being respected by their friends, and bam! Pony of Shadows is back. Probably my biggest theory, and something that most people probably overlooked, is the fact that, the sun is still rising and setting every day. And we know that doesn't happen on its own. It never has. And the earliest recorded history that we get from this book is that it used to take, in the beginning of our recorded history, Starswirl the Bearded, I believe it was 12 other unicorns to do it. And then when Celestia came along, she was able to do it by herself. And they ended up putting their power into a thing to give to Twilight so she could do it, with the understanding that she'd probably one day be able to do it on her own anyway, because she's a very powerful alicorn. But without any other explanation, and assuming that magic is gone, why is the sun still rising and setting every day? My theory is that Twilight is still alive. And I don't know where she is. She could be off on a mountain or in a cave living alone, cast off because of the atrocities she committed as a queen to make all these terrible things happen to her empire and make it split apart as it has. I don't know, and I'm really hoping they explain that. And I would be really happy to see Princess Twilight again. Now, obviously, the movie is just a starting point. It would be ridiculous to expect the movie to cover everything that's happened over the last, let's say, 1,000 years. Obviously, they need something for the show to explore somewhat too, and I don't believe magic is fully back. They've just begun to figure out how to bring it back, right? So there's clearly a long road ahead of them, and they'll do it, together as friends. Like I said, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fantastic. I would give it a 5 out of 5, even. I greatly enjoyed it. The only thing is a little light in the lore where I was hoping that there would be, a little something to go off of. But, once again, I understand that they have to fill the series with something too. And that's an obvious, thing to explore. So I can't really hold that against the movie itself. And as always, thank you for watching. If you have theories, post them down below in the comments. Or if you disagree with anything I've said, you can post it down in the comments. Or if you want to say whatever you want, you can put it down in the comments. Don't forget to give the video a like, subscribe if you could, and I will see you next time. Hey guys, what's up? It's Colton Calculated coming to you from my new YouTube area, coming at you live. Wait, it's not live? Does that mean we can edit out if I say